Alright, here we are. It is game number 2 of Sen against Draco. In my opinion, the most exciting, hard to predict match in the round of 16. The map, destination, Sen leading 1-0. We have Draco as the green Protoss at 12 o'clock. And we have Sen as the white Zerg down at 6.
Being a Protoss player myself, I gotta say it was pretty painful to watch Draco play that last game. Not because he played it poorly, but because Sen did a strategy that can be so hard to stop if you find out about it too late. And in this case, I think Draco simply put did find out about what was going on just a little bit too late, and he had no choice but to attack and try to end it rather than go into this long, drawn-out game where he'd slowly be starved to death. Didn't work out well for Draco, but things can change.
Indeed they can, and Draco sending a probe out. Looks like he's going to go for a fast expansion on this map. Very, very standard. And Sen, in the meantime, I totally expect to play a completely standard game. There isn't really a place on the map that he can expand to like we saw him do last game. So I think that this is going to be a very cut and dry, turns into who can execute these builds better, micro better, and I don't think there's going to be anything that really catches each other off guard.
We see the spawning pool first here for Sen, so he's probably going to go... okay, here's the extractor as well. He's going to go ahead and try to get Zergling speed, kill off the probe, and that way Protoss is in the dark about what exactly is going on. Excuse me, extractor trick. Not only does he get an extra drone there, but he also tricks the caster into thinking he's going to go for Zergling speed. But, yeah, he's going to go with a slightly different technique.
That's right, the extractor trick. When you're at 9 of 9 supply, you can just make a drone on that geyser. It's very cheap. Make another drone, cancel it off, and now you got 10 of 9. So it just gives you a little tiny boost in your economy when you want to do a build like this, which Sen is doing. So he's going to get that early spawning pool. It's going to make him very safe, and also force Draco to go forge first and make a few cannons before that Nexus goes up.
One thing about opening up like this, Protoss versus Zerg, you got to be very careful to do everything perfectly. He's actually going to get 2 cannons. Sometimes we see Zerg against Zerg players, you get quick spawning pool with no extractor. They may only get 1 cannon, but you can see Draco wants to play it safe. He's already pretty behind from losing that first game. So from here on out, he's going to have to do everything perfectly.
And I really like what Sen has done here. You see he's only getting 2 Zerglings out of those 3 eggs that he made. And Draco, he has canceled one of those cannons, so he realized, oh, you're not making 6 Zerglings? I only need 1 cannon then. So he cancels that same cannon, helps him to get the Nexus a little bit quicker, and he will not add another cannon until either A, he loses scouting information, or B, he sees more Zerglings being made.
You're absolutely right. He did handle that correctly. So he is going to go ahead and now rush and get that gateway. From there, he's going to get the assimilator, get the cybernetics core, and most likely hurry towards getting the starport. Sometimes we see players rush for a citadel, do a zealot timing rush, but I think against a player like Sen, you have to get those corsairs out and figure out what on earth is going on.
That is right, and we see Sen right now. He's taking that 3rd base on the high ground to the left of his natural. And just smart play. This is how you play this map. I think, as I said, going to be pretty textbook overall. We see back at home, Draco, he's started his gateway, getting a 2nd cannon at this time. But Sen coming up with, it looks like 5 Zerglings. There's only 1 cannon there. No, oh, here come probes at the ramp, so he will be able to hold off these Zerglings.
He is going to try to move by. Actually, the probe's on the best position. Looks like at least 2 are going to get up there. And indeed they do. Now he can use these Zerglings. Oh, actually, nice control there. He does take out one of those Zerglings. But again, even with 1 Zergling, you can actually deal a lot of damage. You can delay the probes from mining. It can really, really hurt the Protoss player. So Draco's going to have to play perfectly.
That's right. He's going to just kind of attack this. And the Zergling kills a probe. Really kind of sloppy there by Draco to let that probe die. I almost feel like he is disheartened. That is, what else are you doing right now, Draco, that you cannot pull that probe away? Really sloppy play. But Sen, he's going to keep his eye on that Zergling. He has his eyes on the prize. He knows he can get very far in this tournament. And he is just going to run this Zergling around and get as much scouting intel as is humanly possible. Well, we see that the Cybernetics Core going up for Draco. And Sen, in the meantime, he is morphing his lair. He has got that third base up and running. And, you know, just pretty standard play overall here. I don't really foresee any weirdness going on. Draco Stargate is going up, so he's going to be able to see exactly what Sen's up to, which is going to be pretty standard in and of itself, as we've said.
So far, again, a normal game. We're waiting to see the definitive tech moment here. I think Sen knows that, okay, I already beat this guy pretty badly in game number 1. If I just play normal in game number 2, maybe Draco's going to be a bit shaken up.
Yeah, you know, Sen, getting that first game lead is so big mentally. You know, you get ahead and you're like, all right, this is mine to lose now. I just need to take 2 more games out of 4. The maps are pretty good overall. And in fact, you know, the last map, map number 5, Andromeda, that is Zerg favored against Protoss. So, you know, Sen just has to feel really great winning on Fighting Spirit, which is like a 50-50 map.
Yeah, he's got to be feeling pretty good. Corsair on the way. He's going to use that not just to harass Overlords, but to also figure out basically what's going on the map, so he can respond accordingly. And we do have a Spire coming out, so he could actually have Scourge the same time as the Corsair gets out. That's a very sneaky technique we see from a lot of good Zerg players. By the way, Zergling's speed over here. Zergling's running into this expansion, going for the Assimilator. Very nice. If he gets that, that'll really hurt the Protoss' tech. But Zealots should be able to drive him out. The most common technique that you see from Protoss on this map is they get a lot of Corsairs and they get Zealots with the legs and the +1 attack. They want to try to apply pressure, pick up an expansion ideally, while they secure another one of their own.
That's right. Now, if we take a quick look at what Sen is doing right now, at his third base, he has another hatchery going up and the evolution chamber, making a nice little wall there that he can make sunken colonies behind. That's going to be a very hard base to attack at all. In the natural base, we have another hatchery and the Hydralisk Den with lurkers morphing. So it looks like he's going to do a pretty defensive, you know, Scourge plus Lurkerling, maybe get a little bit of a contain up, and just make sure that his bases don't die. Now, it's going to be on Draco. The onus is basically on him. He needs to make sure he does not get contained over those bridges. Tasteless, I know that you have lived through the pain of being contained by lurkers on Destination. Why don't you tell us about the power of that?
Well, you know, one thing is that you can have a mobile lurker army and just move that to whichever bridge they're trying to cross, and really no matter how big the Protoss' army is, it's going to be very tough to get across from that. So this one small attack early on here that Draco's going to do is huge, actually, especially for how much damage it's going to deal. We do see the Zealots have just now gotten over their leg speed, not quite done, but let me tell you something, there's no way in the world he's going to break that defense. And actually, a lurker pinch here, Zergling pinch here. It is 6:30 in the morning, and he is going to take out a lot of these Zealots. This is a very big blow here to Draco. What a disaster.
Seriously, this is really bad for Draco. Losing this many Zealots when Sen has this many hatcheries, I could see Sen just pulling the trigger, man, just going after him and killing him pretty quickly here. Sen has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hatches up already. He's killed so many units. Look at how many Zerglings he has outside the bridges of Draco. And Draco, you know, he's got a decent amount of Zealots still, but he's lost 5 or 6. If he had 5 or 6 more, then this army is suddenly not scary at all. But if Sen keeps reinforcing, you know, he has some mutas making as well. So I think we may just see a really quick timing bust here by Sen.
Also, interestingly enough, the positioning of the robotics facility could be targeted by lurkers. We do see Draco moving out now. He is driving these Zerglings southward. +1 attack is finished.
That is right. There is no carapace on those Zerglings as of yet. But here come the mutas, and those are going to destroy the Zealots. Zealots not very good against mutas because they do not jump. You know, they just cannot fend off these mutas. The mutas chasing the Zealots home and killing some on the way. Now, this is pretty big. Man, if he gets in there, kills a bunch of Zealots, and in fact, if he can go in and even kill some cannons, maybe snipe the High Templars, his Zerglings are going to be able to go in and perhaps clean up and end this game. Sen really looks to be in a dominating position right now, especially thanks to these mutas.
The main is hardly defended, so he moves in here now. He's going to take out, we could potentially take out these Corsairs if the Scourge hit. Timing is everything here. He moves forward. But actually, Draco's control surprisingly good one. Corsair picked off. However, it does look like he is going to have to retreat. Nice defense there by Sen. by Draco. However, Sen is controlling his Mutalisk pretty damn well.
That's right, you know, he's taken out a couple Corsairs, he's killed some probes here and there, gotten that cannon that was really helping him out. And right now, Draco, he's kind of in a lot of trouble. He's got all these Zealots still running around the middle of the map, a ton of mutas for Sen. They are doing so much damage to these Zealots that they are just, you know, they are damaged beyond belief now. They are almost useless at this point, just taking up supply. They will die so quickly to any army that Sen gathers up. And in the meantime, Sen taking the bottom left expansion, starting Hydralisk production. He's got +1 carapace, so the +1 attack of the Zealots no longer going to help them out at all whatsoever. And right now, Sen is just looking on fire, Tasteless. I mean, this is going to be such a hard game for Draco to end up winning.
Well, it looks like Draco is going to move out yet again here, but the Corsairs could be picked up by the Scourge. No, they retreat at the last second here, passing by the Panda Bear guy in the middle of the map. Draco is confident that he can do some damage here. I don't know if it's the best move, though. He does need to secure another base. We don't see Draco doing that yet. Sen just has an ungodly amount of units.
That's right, man. And this Corsair Archon combo is not going to be able to hold off these mutas that well, as we see. Sen's micro is just too good. He is not letting those Archons get hits. And look at this, Draco trying to pressure over the bridge, but Lurkers are done. He doesn't have any observers with his army at this point in time. And Sen counterattacking with those Mutalisks, going right up for the cannons while his Scourge take out the Corsairs. So Draco GG's. And wow, Sen is up 2-0 just like that.
This guy is completely out of control. Sen now with a 2-0 lead, but you know what? Draco could come back and win the next 3 games. We just don't know. Let's find out.
Well, you know, that game, really, Sen just dominated the entire time, just like Game 1. I am beginning to think that I want to go back in time and change my no prediction to a Sen 3-0.
I'm actually surprised the games are this one-sided. There was really nothing that Draco could have done. It looked like in that last game, his decision-making was just a little bit off. Sen seems to be very comfortable sticking with the Lurker-Zergling combination, then using a few Mutalisks. Nowadays, we mostly see Zerg players getting a lot of Hydralisks and Mutalisks, using the Mutalisks to snipe the Templars and then surrounding the army with the Hydras. But instead, Sen is much more comfortable with this old-school style, and it seems to be throwing Draco off a little bit.
You know, that it is, and Sen, man, he is a powerhouse. The next map, let's take a look at it. Outsider SE. ZVP, pretty even on this map overall, as you see, statistically speaking. But, you know, I think what we're going to see here out of Draco is a double 9-gate in the natural. That seems to be the choice strategy at high-level PvZs that we've seen here.
Yeah, one thing about this map is that Zerg, against a Zerg, I should say, Protoss don't want to get into the late game because drops are just ridiculously hard to stop. So a lot of good Protoss players will just try to end the game as quickly as possible, and that's why you might see a double 9-gate outside of the expansion. But that doesn't mean we have to see that. We could see a multitude of other different things, but I think your prediction is pretty good, Artosis.
Thank you, Tasteless. Well, without any more speaking, let's go on to Game 3. Let's see if Sen is going to do to Draco what we saw earlier happen to poor Zalzi from Hydra.